Hey everyone, this is TheOcarinaMaker finally coming to you with the huge Q&A video that I promised. And it was even more delayed due to the fact that I recorded myself for this. Like, I actually had a webcam up and I was going to have my face in like the top corner and everything. Unfortunately, it came out looking awful and the audio got corrupted and out of sync, so I'm starting again from scratch. So hopefully you guys don't mind looking at some gameplay here of me playing Team Fortress 2, and, well, just enjoy the video for what it is. Also, announcement, we have the winners. We have the winners for the giveaway that I mentioned in the last video. And we also have 3 runner-up winners just in case someone doesn't want it or they never accept the trades or something like that. But yeah, so we have the 3 winners announced and we're going to reveal those at the end of the video, so stick around and look forward to that. But until then, hopefully you enjoy me answering all of the questions from the Q&A video and a couple from here and there that I get every now and then. Also, amazingly, since the 10,000 subscriber special, I am now at 11,000 subscribers, so you guys are absolutely insane, and I love it. So thank you all so much for continuing to support me, even after 10,000 subscribers. It really means a lot, so hopefully you enjoyed this video, and it's kind of like my gift to you, so just soak it all in. Soak it all in. Be a sponge. Okay, so I'm just going to go through some comments here, and see what people have been asking. Sinks asks, will you ever do a face reveal and show your gaming setup? I've actually shown my face in a couple videos, or at least one. There was the Invasion update video where I showed my face at the end because I was just so sick of it. I was like, you know what, screw Team Fortress 2, I'm going to play some Splatoon. And then there was the end of the late night server search video, after of which I saw what is an Undertale boss apparently, and I was just done. I was just done with TF2, joining random servers. That thing was disturbing. As for my gaming setup, yeah, I'll get my little camera and show my gaming setup real quick.
Alright, so here it is. Here's what it looks like. It's kind of a mess right now because I'm in the middle of doing a bunch of videos and editing and such. But yeah, here's my gaming setup. And just, I guess, home entertainment and whatever. It's kind of both. It looks insanely expensive, but honestly, this whole setup was probably like, let's see. Actually, no, yeah, it might be about $3,000. But this is not something that I, like, just collectively decided, you know what, I'm gonna spend $3,000 and get a huge, crazy gaming setup. This is just stuff that I've, like, collected over the years and just meshed it all together when I moved into my new apartment. So I'm not actually rich or loaded. In fact, these speakers the neighbor threw out, and I just am like, you know what, I'll take those. Fun story. Originally, and actually in a lot of my videos, because people are asking about my gaming setup long before this one. Also, if my audio sounds different, I'm sorry, it's the camcorder. Until I actually had some decent stereo speakers, I had like the poor man's solution, and I actually hooked up my computer to my record console here, and I was using this as speakers for the longest time. So back then, if people asked what kind of gaming setup do you have, I just said I have a computer sitting on top of a record console. That's basically it. So that's a little fun bit of history, but that's what I used until, long story short, a capacitor started leaking acid in it from being used too much, and I decided to retire it to only playing records and radio because it was just putting too much strain on it. Thing's over 53 years old. Gotta give it a break sometime. Current setup just consists of my computer, which I'll put the specs up on the screen after I'm done showcasing this. Like I said, the speakers that were tossed out, a piece of crap. Oh, you're right. Can't forget you. Scared the crap out of me. He legit scared the heck out of me. Got a little turret. Not part of the gaming setup, I just think he's cute. But yeah, I do not recommend this receiver or this TV. They're both giving me a crazy amount of trouble. But yeah, got my computer, an Xbox 360 that was given to me by a friend, and Wii U, and a GameCube. There's one under there. I'm gonna open it with my feet. Alright, that's gonna drive me nuts. Yeah, and then just external hard drive in there. Now, another thing I know someone asked while I have the camera is, since I am left-handed, what kind of mouse do I use? And I have a mouse that I can use in either hand. I use it in both right or left hand. It's just a standard Microsoft mouse. There's really nothing special about it. No additional features or whatever. In fact, little side grips actually got torn off because it's so cheap. But in terms of actually a responsive mouse, it's crazy responsive. So, made out of cheap material, but a very nice mouse in general. And this is the microphone that I use, which is also my webcam. I've had this for a while, just a simple Logitech one. And the one that I am asked the most, and I have the most difficulty answering, is what kind of like high-end gaming keyboard do you have? Hear me out. This is my keyboard. No joke, this is what I actually use. The reason for that being is that, first of all, I am so sick of the mushy keys that modern computers have. In fact, my computer came with one of those and I hated it. Also, what's up with like the enter button like extending all the way up here? I don't like that. And then the backspace just being this tiny little nub. I make mistakes. I like to press backspace. But yeah, the reason I use this, aside from it feeling more comfortable, is it is crazy responsive. It has the fastest response time of any keyboard I've used. The thing is probably reaching 17 years old now, like very close to being 17 years old. So it's had a good run. I've actually used this since I was 3 years old. This is the first keyboard I ever used, and well, if I'm used to it, might as well still use it. Of course, with a modern computer, that requires a ton of converter cables to make it even possible to run on my computer, but you know what? I wouldn't have any other keyboard. This is the one. I love it. I love it. Also, to be very specific, on rare occasions I have been known to use a game controller, and I've tried syncing up the Xbox 360 controllers to my computer. It just is not working. So what I actually ended up doing is I bought a Wii U Pro controller attachment for my computer. It actually tricks the computer into thinking it's an Xbox 360 controller. So I just sync this up to my computer and just use a Wii U Pro controller. Because honestly, this is a really freaking comfortable controller. I know the triggers are just buttons, and that's the one thing that the Xbox One actually has over it, but I can't think of any time I actually need these to be just anything but buttons, so yeah, there you go. Also, what's with this mess? What's with the joystick being down here? Why can't we have two at the bottom or two at the top? That's like standard. What is the friggin', where's the GoldenEye controller? Look, GoldenEye controller got it right. It got two at the bottom. Why can't we have a comfortable one? Except for Sonic Generations. It's actually more comfortable on this one. But any other game, just this. Quit turning on. Don't do that. So frickin' mushy ass D-pad, can't control a thing, always making my character go whatever which way. Sorry, I really don't like the Xbox 360 controller, can you tell?
So yeah, I might have rambled on a bit there. So as for what kind of computer I have, I'll put the stats up right here. So rating overall is 5.9. Processor AMD FX 6120, 6-core processor, 3.5 gigahertz, whatever. If you ask me to explain exactly in like full detail what that means, all I can say is it's fast. Not the most tech-savvy person, but I can get by. I know what computers are going to work for gaming and what aren't. 8 gigabytes of RAM, that's nothing too out of the ordinary. 64-bit operating system, ignore the pen and touch thing, I don't even know why that's there. Alright, so let's go like to the exact rating index and see how it does. So processor's got a rating of 7.3, memory, as in RAM, has 7.7, so that's pretty good right there. Graphics 7.1, gaming graphics 7.1 as well, and hard disk is just 5.9. And that's always going to be the lowest determining number. But yeah, there you go. Now a question that often follows this, and I'm not going to credit this to any individual person because many people ask this, what do I use to record? I use Fraps to record, mainly because it's inexpensive, my computer can actually run that 10-year-old piece of crap, and everything else I've tried just crashes. It crashes, it never works right, it's overly complicated. Fraps might take a lot to run, but it's simple It's easy to use. It records lossless AVI, which means that I can do like 20 minutes of recording and get like a terabyte of memory used up, but whatever, as long as I'm careful about how much I'm recording. Now, that might change in the future as I'm looking to get a HDMI recorder, which would be a lot easier. An HDMI recorder that just encodes as it captures. That means that it's not taking up a crazy amount of memory. And I could probably use that to record my computer as well, since my computer's actually running out of HDMI instead of a PC input. So yeah, that might change in the future, but what I've been using for the majority of my channel, in fact, the entirety of my channel up until this video, has been Fraps. Except for Splatoon, the Splatoon video, that was something completely different, but I'm not even getting into that horrible setup. The picture was so bad, it's not even worth it. Actually, I got by okay, but it was not good. Alright, let's move on to some other comments. Kegro asks, spawn camping, hot or not? Well, I don't like spawn camping, definitely, but really, that's not the fault of the players. That's the fault of an unbalanced game, and unbalanced weapons, and people abusing the game. I mean, yeah, people are kind of at fault for abusing the game, but who's really at fault? It's the people who made the game abusable. Granted, there is some blame there, but really, I blame the game developers for making it possible, because people are going to be assholes on the internet. They gotta realize that. This is why I actually like Delphi for showing all of these exploits. I know a lot of people actually hate on Delphi and say that he's making money off of exploiting the game and driving the TF2 fan base away. I think that's ridiculous. I think he's like the one and only reason that these glitches are getting fixed as quickly as they are. So yeah, quick little opinion on there since I know that's been going around recently. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, we've got a few. We've got quite a few here. Who is your favorite TF2 class? Asks Gabe Martinez. I don't know how to pronounce your name properly, I'm sure. He also asks, what is my favorite color? My favorite color is kind of like a duller blue. Like, not just a vivid blue, kind of like a dulled one, kind of like a grayish blue, honestly. Favorite TF2 class is definitely Demo Man for his diversity, and it just feels the most natural when I use him. No one asks, and that's actually his name, how old are you? P.S. I love your videos. Well, I love you, no one. I am 20! And he's not the only one who asked that. He's not just... A lot of people have asked that, but he's the first one that I saw. Mr. Daxi asks, do you have an Xbox One, PS4, or a gaming computer? Well, I just showed that I have a gaming computer, which I've modified over the years because it's had a few issues. As for Xbox One and PS4, no, not really. Mainly when it comes to consoles, I only really own Nintendo things, like... I've got a new 3DS XL and a Wii U because, first of all, Nintendo's games are only on their platform, and secondly, they offer something that PC doesn't really have, and if they do have it, it doesn't have great support for it. Like, I love the motion controls of the Wii. I know a lot of people hate that, but I actually love it. The second screen of the Wii U, which I guess the NX has now as well, but they're not really utilizing it in the same way. Or, I'm sorry, the Nintendo Switch. I'm never gonna get used to that. But yeah, really, it comes down to, and I know there's exclusives for the Xbox, and I know there's exclusives for the PlayStation, but the majority of the games I could get on Xbox or PlayStation, I could get on PC, and now I'm not saying that all PCs are like this. A lot of PCs are garbage, and it honestly is cheaper to get a console than a PC that have the same specs, but my PC can just run these games way better than Xbox or PlayStation could. And that's because it's a gaming PC. Now, I get like both sides of like, oh, PC versus console. Console has more comfortable controls, better support, and honestly, smoother gameplay for the limited hardware. And it's less expensive. But then there's the side of PC like, oh, well, if you buy yourself a super expensive gaming computer, you will be able to have that for a while. So instead of like spending money on next gen after next gen of consoles, you can just keep updating your current PC. So that's what I've kind of been doing. I've been doing both. Because like the Wii U actually offers something different and the PC just runs the games better. But I see both sides, so I'm not being like PC Master Race or console is better. I understand both. I like both. I can't choose between the two of them. I play the Wii U, well, honestly because of YouTube I've been playing my PC more, but before I started YouTube, easily played the Wii U and the PC equal amounts. And of course 3DS and all that. What else we got here? What is your next subscriber goal? Asks... Oh god, I'm sorry if I butcher your name. Oan Vo. Next is 30,000. Now, the reason for 30,000 instead of 20,000 is because From my estimates, 30,000 would be a good area to be at, because then I can put out videos as I want them. Like, I don't have to make videos that I know are going to, like, bring in a lot of views. Like, I don't have to make themed videos or things. I can put out what I want, what the subscribers want, and still get enough ad revenue from that to continue to support my channel and myself, of course. And by support myself, I mean pay the bills. Gosh, they're expensive, man. Dickwad Rent... God dang it. I've read your name like 5 times, and I can never get through pronouncing it. Dickwad Regonald the Turd asks, what's your dream unusual? I actually have my dream unusual. It's the Tam O'Shanter with the Aces High. And that was thanks to Fierce Goomba, who donated a Sultan Ceremonial with, like, whatever that sunbeam effect is. And I was able to trade that up to the unusual that I wanted. So big shout out to Fierce Goomba for being awesome. Seriously awesome, dude. See, you will not go unnoticed if you help the channel like that. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I'm joking, of course. Honestly, when it comes down to it, your views help more than you guys know. Not an Average Gamer asks, are you gay or bisexual? Nope. Moving on. Ace, what software do you use to record? I already answered that. And that actually brings up another one, and this is not specific to anyone as well. This is something that people ask me all the time. What do you use to edit your videos? And the answer may shock and surprise you. Now, for doing effects, like special effects that most editors can't do, I use a free program called VSDC Video Editor. At least I have the free version. I would not recommend that now. They had an update where they restricted a lot of the features that used to be free, so I'm kind of mad at them. So do not recommend that one. In fact, I've been using it less and less the more it goes on, and I've been looking for other means to do special effects in my videos. But that's what I've been using for a while until they ruined it. But as for actually putting the videos out there and, like, compiling all the clips together into one solid video, I actually use Windows Movie Maker. I'm serious, and don't blow up in the comments. I have modified Windows Movie Maker to be able to force out 60 frames a second and have much better quality videos. That's actually what I've been working on recently, is making the picture quality better than it should be. It causes it to run a little bit slower, but the output is pretty good considering, and also, it's easy as heck to use. Why use something complicated when you can just tweak something that's easy to use and just continue to work off of that? But yeah, for anything like special effects, like pictures appearing on screen and moving and such like that nope that popped up in Starbound, I've been using VSDC Free Video Editor for that. Speaking of which, go watch Starbound if you haven't. I seriously love that series. If anyone's like a fan of the old videos where Fox and I and like random people would go on servers and just do utter nonsense, basically that's the Starbound series. It's Fox, me, and Death by Sound just randomly doing stuff in Starbound. I'm completely lost and they're trying to teach me like what to do. I don't know, go give it a try if you haven't. It's honestly one of my favorite series of videos I'm working on so far. Advertising! Okay, back to the questions. Can you link to the custom HUD, please? Yes, I will leave a link in the description down below. The HUD that I use, and everyone asks this, is ToonHUD. I use ToonHUD. So there's a link to that in the description, my specific ToonHUD that I created. Now, the crosshair's not going to be the same. And this is what people ask all the time, because they'll go into Team Fortress 2 and they can't reproduce my crosshair. They'll go into ToonHUD and they can't reproduce my crosshair. So everyone's like, what the heck? How did you get that? I made that crosshair myself, pixel by pixel. I made it, converted it into proper files that Team Fortress 2 supports, and then I tricked ToonHUD into thinking it's one of its own crosshairs. So ToonHUD thinks it's running one of its simple crosshairs when actually it's just pasting mine over the game. As for it actually changing colors when you hit something, that is a feature of ToonHUD. So that's not something I did. I just made the crosshair. ToonHUD is the one that colored it and makes it change colors when you hit things. And people ask for a link to that, where honestly, I do not currently have a link to my crosshair. In fact, I'm still working on my crosshair. There's a couple little things I'd like to tweak about it. But yeah, and a lot of people ask, like, where did you come up with the idea for your crosshair? And basically, the short version of that is, I was trying to think back to what is the most accurate crosshair I've ever used in a video game? What felt the most comfortable? And I thought back to Metroid Prime, specifically Metroid Prime Trilogy for the Wii. And that crosshair was awesome. I thought it would work really well in Team Fortress 2, so I recreated it in one of my image editing softwares, and I put it in there. That's the long story short. So yeah, there's currently no way to get my crosshair. It's just something that I have on my own Toon HUD, because I made it myself and modded it in myself. Unicorn Raptor asks, what's your favorite meme? Hashtag best minigun of... No, maybe loosen lockin'. Or no, maybe when I'm a heavy and then I don't go heavy and then... You know what? My favorite meme is the entire video of X10 Randomizer Insanity. You should look that up on the channel. I get subscribers quoting that thing all the time. And it was great. I was tired as heck. I got like no sleep and I decided, you know what? I'm gonna record for 2 hours. The video's not actually 2 hours long. I condensed it into 40 minutes. But I'm gonna record for 2 hours while I have no sleep and I don't know what I'm talking about while playing X10 Randomizer. Because that's a good idea. So go check that one out. That's honestly like my favorite video that I've done. Which is another question. What's my favorite video? X10 Randomizer Insanity. Definitely. That's the favorite that I've made so far. Alright, what else we got here? Is there any relationship to the channel Ace Ocarinas? Asks Captain Plaid. Yes. In fact, a lot of people, and this is like not anyone specific, there's been a lot of people who have asked this, why is my name Ace TheOcarinaMaker? That's because I actually make and sell ocarinas, and the channel Ace Ocarinas is my original channel, where I would upload me playing various ones. And then it kind of turned into like a tutorial channel of how to make ocarinas, showcasing some ones that I've made. But if you'd like to see that for yourself, if you'd like to see some of the ocarinas that I actually make and sell, I'll have a link to my website in the description below, so check that out. They're really cool. I love ocarinas. It's like my favorite instrument. TressNG asks, what's your most stupid moment in TF2? Okay, so giftapults. I was not aware that they changed how they function. I could have sworn that it used to be that, oh, when you giftapult something, it's sent to a random person on the server, right? And people would abuse this. They would go to an empty server and giftapult untradeable gifts to friends. I was not aware they changed this. So I ended up giftapulting a strange haunted cosmetic to some random guy out in the world when I was trying to send it, or when I was trying to have my brother send it to me. So that didn't go well. But hey, it made someone's day, I'm sure. Derek Davis asks a really good question, and this honestly warrants its own video. Name your favorite classes in TF2. Like, I'm guessing like least favorite to most favorite. Let me know if you guys would like to see that video, because that I feel like I could not do proper justice unless I discussed it in a full video's length worth of time. But to get it out there real quick, my least favorite class is either Scout or Soldier. Now this is not least favorite to play, least favorite to play against, or least favorite in terms of design or gameplay or things like that. But either Soldier or Scout, one of those two. And my favorite is Demo Man, followed closely by the Heavy. An average viewer asks, what is your most prized item in Team Fortress 2? This is actually an item I acquired recently, and I was going to wait to reveal it in a future video talking about rare TF2 weapons, but I'll talk briefly about it right here, because it is definitely my most prized item in Team Fortress 2, like, hands down. It's not my unusual, it's not my Eyelander, which that is a very good contender too, I love my Eyelander. No, my most prized item in Team Fortress 2 is actually a minigun. So the reason this is my most prized item in TF2 is, well, for one, it's my most expensive item in Team Fortress 2. This is a factory new, strange iron wood with Uber's Charge killed, Defenders killed, Heavies killed, and a Sheen Team Shine. Now, what makes this thing so special is because there are less than 15 strange factory new ironwood miniguns in existence. The reason for that I'll explain in the rare weapons video I'm working on. Second one, actually. The first one is going to be talking about a different weapon. But there's less than 15 of these things in existence, and if you want to get down to it, if you want to get down to like the nitty-gritty of how many specialized killstreak strange factory new ironwoods there are, this is one of 2 that exist, at least that we know of. Unless there's some that are in private backpacks that no one can view, which it definitely could be, but I can't imagine why it would be in a private backpack. But as far as we know, and this number may change in the future definitely as more come out, but there are currently only 2 of those, and I have 1 of them. The other one is currently, or at least I think it's currently, it might have been sold already, but it's being sold on the community market, and it's got, I think it was Deadly Daffodil on it. If you want to be really nitpicky about it and just go with, like, what sheen it has and, like, specifically what it is, then I guess my Iron Wood is the only one like it, because there aren't any Team Shine ones that exist. Except for mine. So yeah, that is my most prized item in Team Fortress 2. And I actually got it for, like, a really good quick sell price, too. Now, it was not cheap, but there it is. And that was a good question. Moving on, how did you get into TF2? This is one a lot of people have asked. I actually used to play a lot of the remake of GoldenEye for the Wii. That was like my main shooter game that I played. And that went on for a decent while, but then it started losing steam and no one ever played online, and then after that they shut off online services to the game. So I was looking for something like that, and my friend Pillander recommended Team Fortress 2. So he brought me into a match, and like just an empty map, and showed me the basics of Team Fortress 2, and I started to get into it. First map I ever played on was Capture the Flag Well, which they removed entirely from the game. Pity. But yeah, I got into Team Fortress 2 because it was a nice little replacement for GoldenEye. In fact, the shooting classes felt really natural to me because I was already so used to GoldenEye. And someone else asked what are the hardest classes to learn, or at least for me. It was Soldier, Engineer, Spy, anything that's like out of the norm for a shooter game. Medic was actually pretty easy though. So yeah, good question. Also, speaking of GoldenEye for the Wii, did you know that someone brought back the online services for that and there are people playing on it right now? I freaking lost it. About had a heart attack when I discovered that. I only found it out because I accidentally clicked multiplayer while wanting to play through the single player campaign again. And it brought me to a match. It's actually running pretty smooth too. So that's interesting. I don't know how that came back. I thought they were supposed to shut down online services for the Wii except for like maintenance and the shop channel. Someone asked, how many console commands do you know in Team Fortress 2? Not many. I typically remember my commands for my server more than actual console commands. A lot of people ask, how do you get your view model to be left-handed? And I'll tell you right here, this is the one and only answer. Go into Advanced Options, and you tick the box that says Flip View Models. And you're going to want to do that on the menu. You don't want to do that in-game or it won't work. But yeah, a lot of people will answer and say, oh, it's like CL underscore right hand 0 or something like that. And it's like, no, this is not Counter-Strike. That doesn't work. That will not happen in Team Fortress 2. You have to actually tick Flip View Models. And Flip View Models will not work if you have one of those virtual reality headsets. I don't know how many of you actually do have one of those, but yeah, it will not work on that. For pretty obvious reasons, in that it doesn't actually flip the model of the character, just the weapons. And of course, everyone asks, am I left-handed? Yes. Actually, I'm kind of ambidextrous, but I much prefer my left hand. So, I can use a mouse in either right or left hand, and keyboard as well. And that's another thing, is people ask, how do you use your keyboard when you're using a left-handed mouse? And they speculate that I use the arrow keys or something like that. I actually use the number pad, because there's a lot of room for movement there, and there's plenty of buttons next to all of the numbers that you can bind things to. At least on my older keyboard, there's a lot of buttons that I can use. So, yeah, I use the number pad, not the arrow keys. I'm going to skip a couple that are just different versions of questions I've already answered. Snaya asks, can I say my name 5 times? He actually says I. Yeah, Snaya, I mean, you have my permission to say your name 5 times. Do you think you can read the B-Script movie in 2 days straight? I could, but I'm not going to. What is your favorite Source Filmmaker video? God, that is a tough one. There is Turbulence, High Silk Hat, and Spawn Camp. I love those. I can't pick just one, but those are in the top 3, definitely. As a kid, do you believe that you have a shorter life when you're left-handed? I guess, maybe. I don't know. I was always skeptical of that because I never saw any evidence behind it. What is your favorite subject? History. As long as it's interesting history, not like boring stuff like, oh, this one colony in France was founded in 1870. I don't care. So, I don't know. That's kind of either history or technology, if that's a subject that you guys have in your school. He asks, why do you call yourself TheOcarinaMaker? I already answered that. What is your favorite game besides TF2? Well, see, TF2 is not my favorite game. It's up there, but it's not my favorite game. My favorite game is The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. Say what you will about that game, I love it. Best game ever. Love it. Just so many hugs for that game. I was so excited on Christmas when I got that for the first time. Just like younger me, just leaping with joy. Also, that's another thing. Let me know if you guys would like to know, like, if you want me to put together a list of my favorite video games of all time. Like, I know a lot of you are just here for TF2 content, but if you'd like to see some of the other games that I like to play, let me know. Let me know if you'd like to see a list like that. And maybe I'll play some of them once I get an HDMI recorder. That'd be nice to do for the channel. Number 8 is don't ignore question 9. Number 9 is ignore question 8. And 10 is how many hours do you have in Team Fortress 2? Now, this may not be accurate because a while back I had to reset my character stats, which is why I only have like 500 hours as Demoman when really I should have much more than that. But I had to reset them because a community server that I went on completely screwed them up and like corrupted them. So I had to reset them to fix them. I don't know how they did that, but according to Team Fortress 2 itself and my Steam, I have 2,740 hours on record, which may or may not be accurate, but that's the best estimate I have. Almost 3,000 would be a decent guess. What kind of weapon ideas do you have? That's a good one for another video as well. Let me know if you guys would like to see that, because I'd be here. This video would be crazy long if I answered some of these questions that require so much explaining, which I've already done a bit, and I'm going to try not to do that as much so this video doesn't drag on longer than it needs to. But JJ Allen, that is a very good question, and if you guys want to see a video like that, let me know, and that would be really fun to do. I thought of kind of like a laser weapon minigun for heavy, but that's just all I'm going to get into right there. I have more ideas, but we'll get into them later. Ace, what are your favorite unusual effects? Well, I like orbiting aces, of course, or aces high, whatever it's called. I really like the one where it's like the sun coming out of the purple clouds with like the beams shining everything. A lot of the Halloween ones. It's really hard to pick because there's so many unusual effects. And it seems like unusual effects are either awesome or they're ugly as heck. It's either one or the two. There's not just one that's kind of like, that's okay. Or if there are, they're few and far between. Marwin asks, were you bad at TF2 when you first started? When I first started TF2, I had the basis down. Like, honestly, Sniper was something easy for me to pick up, but that's because of GoldenEye. So I was actually one of those gibbous snipers that people would underestimate, and I'd actually do a decent job. Heavy, anything with, like, hit scan was really easy for me, but all of the weird, like, gimmicky classes, like Spy and Engineer, Pyro, Soldier, things like that, that was a little hard to get used to. Until I got decent practice in with those, if we had too many hit scan classes, I would just switch to Medic, because Medic was so easy to pick up. Like, honestly, you can't do wrong as well, you can, but it's very difficult and requires an immense amount of stupid to do wrong as Medic. A Wizard asks, how long have you been playing Team Fortress 2? Since 2013, I know that. Somewhere around there. Actually, no, I do know. I started playing Team Fortress 2 about 2 weeks after the Man vs. Machine update went live. So I was born in the Man vs. Machine update. That's how my Heavy lost his arm. And then later, the rest of his body. At least most of it. I don't know. That's his backstory. Pierce asks, does your thumbnail represent what you look like in real life? Yes. I know someone else asked, actually a couple people asked, who made your thumbnail or how did you make it? Tyzik actually drew it, and then she edited it on her computer, so that's how that came to be. She also drew herself as well. Actually, I'll put a picture up right there. Bam. That's what she did. It looks great, doesn't it? A lot of people ask, where am I from? I am from Ohio, in the United States. Yeah, you'd never tell based on my accent in some instances, would you? Yanimara, or Mura, asks, are you single? Shadow Mantis asks, what was your most epic win or otherwise moment in Team Fortress 2? That was when I was a Demo Knight and I managed to get a 29 kill streak. And this wasn't just like on a bunch of free-to-plays, this was on a decent amount of people. Very, very epic round. I wish I had recorded that. I think I got a screenshot of it, though, somewhere on my Steam. What is your favorite class in TF2? Doesn't have to be your main, just favorite and their playstyle. My favorite playstyle? That would probably be Spy. I find Spy really interesting. My favorite class is the Spy. Thanks and have fun. Yeah, I know. Not the most original one, but I think Spy has really unique gameplay. What is your favorite loadout in Team Fortress 2? That's a good one. Asks Buri Darth Nader. My favorite loadout? That's a tough one. That is really tough. For all situations, I'm going with Iron Bomber, Charge and Targe, and Claymore. But in general, like just for having fun, full-on Demo Knight loadout. The Alibaba's Wee Booties, Charge and Targe once again, because I love that shield to death, and the Islander. Hizya asks, how long are you doing Left 4 Dead? Well, I'm definitely going to finish the first game, and I'm getting a lot of requests to play Left 4 Dead 2, so that's going to happen at one point. I'm just not sure when. And also, I'm probably going to skip the first campaign in Left 4 Dead 2, because apparently it's the exact same thing, and I didn't know that. But I'm going to keep playing the first campaign in Left 4 Dead, because there's nothing wrong with Left 4 Dead. It's a fine game. And honestly, it looks like it would run better. And you get to see your own body in Left 4 Dead. That's pretty cool. Foppy asks, how did you get the idea to record on YouTube? And this is a good one. As I played video games, I noticed that I was getting a lot of moments that I wish I could share with other people. Like, really funny or amazing moments that it's like, man, I wish someone else could have seen that. So that's where the idea for creating a YouTube channel came from. And I was looking around at other gameplay channels to like get inspiration and see how they would edit their videos and such. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of like Vanoss and his group of friends. I like watching their death run videos every now and then. Not the biggest fan in the world, but I do like how they do their editing. They are a bunch of man-children, but they do their editing right. Peanut Butter Gamer, his pacing and his style of comedy and everything is just brilliant. And as far as like the theme videos go of like Team Fortress 2 and whatever, big inspiration was Star and Germa back when they used to do stuff like that. So yeah, there you go. There's some good YouTubers there for you. What is the most sentimentally valuable item in your backpack? Asks Chickenpox Pixel. That would have to be my back burner, as that is the first strange that I ever got. I was new to the trading scene, and I had a really ugly hat that I didn't want, so it's like, you know what? I'll trade this hat and 2 of these weapons if someone can get me a back burner, because I can't find that thing anywhere. Someone's like, okay, dude, and he gives me a back burner, and I was expecting it to be a unique one. It's like, oh my god, this is a strange, thank you so much. So I started using the heck out of that thing, and over the years I've given it a few different spells, sheens, haven't really given it strange parts, which is weird. I give my other weapons strange parts, but I haven't even touched the back burner. But yeah, the back burner was the first strange that I ever got, and it started a long line of collections of stranges that I have. So it's the first one. Also now it's apparently super rare because it has the green fire spell on it, and you can't get that anymore. So that's a plus. Logan asks, what was your first unboxed unusual? I've never unboxed an unusual. I traded for mine. So yeah, I tried like once to unbox an unusual. Though I gave 2 crates to Fox, who was unboxing, and he said, okay, should I unbox the right or the left one? And I'm like, you can unbox the left one, but I have a good feeling about the right one. He unboxes the right one, and right before it unboxes, I say, by the way, if you unbox an unusual, you gotta give me something good, because I gave you that crate. And he's like, oh yeah, sure. And what do you know? He unboxes an unusual of which there are 3 in existence. And long story short, that's how I got my old strange Machina before I traded it for like other weapons. I used the I used to use the Machina quite a bit on this channel. Or I don't know if it was in that many videos actually. It was just kind of always lingering there. I don't know. I didn't feel like Machina gameplay was good enough to be in a lot of videos, I guess. But yeah, a lot of people ask, can I add you on Steam? And I try not to add people on Steam that are just randomly from the comment section. I wish I could add all of my subscribers, I really do, but it fills up so quickly. And a lot of times, it can honestly get in the way of some videos if I'm getting like a bunch of messages every time I start up TF2. What I have done though is, the whole reason that I have like that Steam group, like the primary reason, you'd think it would be like to alert people when new videos come out, but the primary reason is actually so my subscribers have something that they can join and I can stay in contact with my subscribers like over Steam as kind of like a substitute friends list, because I run out of spaces in my friends list real fast and I try to keep it as low as I can to keep it organized. because too many times I've accidentally unfriended people that I should have kept around, just while cleaning out my friends list every now and then. What is the best of the best MVM loadout? Asks Matthew Tronier. You know what? Since it's the only loadout I've been able to beat Wave 666 on, I'm gonna go with, and this is probably not true, I'm not an MVM player by any means of the word, but Cow Mangler, Conscientious Objector, and Escape Plan. That's my preferred MVM loadout. He also asks, can you put your outro song in a video? I do have it in a video. Link to that in the description below as well. A lot of people actually ask, did I make my outro song? And kind of, it's, like the actual beat of it is called Garden Party, and it's made by someone on Newgrounds. I actually credited him in the video that I uploaded originally of the outro test and that song. And I just made Demo Man sing over the Garden Party song. I've seen a couple people do that, now that's what inspired me to do it. I wanted one for Demo Night and not specifically Demo Man. Snaily001 asks a very good question, also warranting its own video. What are your favorite and least favorite TF2 maps? Least favorite, I definitely know, but favorite is something I'm gonna have to think on for a while. But yeah, just to get it out of the way there, just like a quick little kind of answer before I actually discuss this in full. I really like Double Cross. I think Double Cross is a good one. I'm a big fan of Capture the Flag, so I like Double Cross. My favorite map, honestly, is probably CP Steel. I know a lot of people hate that one. They think it's really confusing, but I like the bigger maps. I love Steel. And least favorite, without a doubt, don't even need to think about it, is Turbine. And if you can't respect that opinion, I'm sorry. I know a lot of people like Turbine, but I do not like it. Stupid, lazy-ass map. JDSFM asks, what is my name? My name is Daniel. Samuel Williams asks, what will you do if TF2 loses popularity? If TF2 loses popularity, I would just switch over to some other games. And I wouldn't ever stop TF2 in general, even if it does lose popularity. I'd still do a TF2 video now and again. But if it loses popularity completely, which I don't think is going to happen for a while, mind you, I would play a lot more Gmod, I think. A lot more Gmod, and get into a bunch of other games as well. Trey Sinji asks, is your wife hot? Yes. I mean, you've seen her. Gorgeous, voluptuous, brass beast. It's beautiful. Oh, I'm keeping that in there. I don't care, I'm not editing that out. That's staying in there. Hey Ace, what is your all-time favorite hat in TF2? Oh, that's a tough one. You know what? The 70s Chapeau is a good one. Or, the Rusty Reaper, the one that my Pyro's using. I like that hat as well. What is your main? A lot of people ask this. I main Demo Man. Specifically Hybrid Knight. So I guess my main loadout really is the, Iron Bomber, Claymore, and Charge and Targe. And if you're wondering why Claymore, check out my video, Is the Claymore Actually Good? And that explains it right there. But yeah, just because that loadout is the best in all situations. I try to have my classes have one purpose, like Pyro's for stopping a heavy push by an enemy team. Heavy is for absolute power and destroying everything in his path. Like, especially when it comes to destroying sentry nests, the Brass Beast is a great tool for that. Scout is a good distraction class. Spy is obviously the spy. He sneaks up behind him, stabs him, going for the chain stabs. Another good distraction right there, actually. It's just, they have different enough playstyles about it, where Scout is a distraction in that they need to focus on him because he's doing a lot of damage, and Spy is more like, if you guys aren't paying attention, you're dead. So, I don't know, Spy is kind of a class that makes them afraid, and Scout is a class that makes them annoyed. But yeah, other classes include like Sniper and things like that. They all have their own roles, but when it comes to all situations, the Hybrid Knight Demo Man is definitely my main. And of course, a lot of times you will see me running around with just an Eyelander and a Charge and Targe with some booties on. Because, I mean, that's always fun. What else we got here? Timothy asks, what state do you live in? He answers himself, saying, I live in crippling depression. God dang it, Timothy. Quit being hilarious. Actually, never do that. Never stop being hilarious. I like Timothy. I'm gonna give a thumbs up to this comment. If you see that comment that has a thumbs up, that was mine. Oh, here's a good one from Andy. What class was your first main and why? My first main was medic, and I already kind of explained that. It's because until I was more used to the game, I wanted to help support them and actually be of use to my team instead of that guy trying to learn the controls in the back that doesn't know where to go. After I got used to medic, though, I used to main huntsman sniper for a while there. It's just, I switched off of that because I had to just come to the realization that anything my huntsman sniper could do, my hybrid knight could do better, so very sad to give up my huntsman. It was a very expensive one too, but I traded it in, got some fancy weapons for my other classes, and well, the rest is history. In fact, some of my earliest videos on this channel you'll see me playing as huntsman sniper. Those were not good videos. No, some of them were. Leo Laszlo asks, what classes do you think are the hardest and easiest to master? Easiest to master would probably be medic. Actually, no. Pyro. Pyro is probably... No, maybe... No, I don't know. It's probably Pyro. It's probably Pyro. Because there's a lot more to improve on, like with heavy and medic and things like that. There's little tricks to learn and whatever. And I know there's definitely tricks to learn with Pyro, and Pyro does have a decent learning curve. It's just, I'm going with what could do the most damage. What could you get by the best with little to no experience with? And Pyro is probably pretty high up there on the least skilled class. Most skilled, I would definitely have to say Sniper or Spy. One of those two. I know a lot of people say that Soldier is either the least skilled or the most skilled. I think Soldier is hard to get used to, but once you do, it's incredibly easy to play as Soldier. So that's where I stand on that. What is your favorite TF2 meme? And Amari answered it for me. Pootis. Of course. Pootis. Also a big fan of Nope.avi. TF2 has some good memes, honestly. Ace, have you a Bat Saber? Asks JJ Ray. Nope, I do not have a Bat Saber. I use the Boston Basher, because it's like basically a straight upgrade to stock if you know how to use it. Glenn Hartley asks, what's the most embarrassing death you've ever recorded? And here it is on screen here. I jumped off of a grenade with my Iron Bomber. I got hit a second time with a rocket, and I shot the Iron Bomber thing at the beam, forgetting that the pills don't bounce, and I ran right over it and blew myself up. That's the most embarrassing death I've ever recorded. But hey, at least I put my embarrassing deaths in my videos. I know a lot of people will just put their highlights and spend like hours doing that. No, I'm human. I make mistakes. Can't deal with that. You shouldn't be playing TF2. Otherwise it's going to be freaking infuriating. Though sometimes it is on its own anyway. CLP_22 asks, what's your favorite weapon and why? My favorite weapon is the Eyelander, because it offers so much diversity and such a unique and different spin on playing Demo Man. He's practically a different class with the thing, assuming you have a charge and charge along with it. So really, these two should be together, and that's my favorite pair of weapons. But if we're talking about just single weapon, if you want to be nitpicky like that and talk about just like single weapon in general, that's a tough one. I'm torn between the Brass Beast and the Cow Mangler. Or the Bizarre Bargain. There's so many good weapons in TF2. But seriously, yeah, I am going to have to go with like the Eyelander, even without the charge and charge, because that thing is just amazing. I love those really high risk, high reward weapons. Dora the Explorer, yes, that's her username, asks, Ace, will you try out Overwatch? I've given it a try. I was impressed. I thought it was a decent game. I just don't think there's anything I can add that other YouTubers aren't doing. Overwatch doesn't really offer a lot of creative freedom. You just kind of have to play the game as it's intended, which is something I like Team Fortress 2 more for. You can be weird with it. You can do all sorts of strange things that you never thought of. Like Iron Bomber jumping, for example. Or just like the whole rocket jumping scene in general. There's some crazy things like that. Like, I was watching people rocket jump with the Beggar's Bazooka recently, and that was a mind trip, man. That was cool. But yeah, Overwatch doesn't seem to have as much creative freedom, and with the lack of community servers, I don't know, I lose interest really easily. It's not captivated my interest. I have played a decent amount of it, but not enough to warrant a video, so far. Ah, here we go. Totally Not JoJo asks a great one. Do you think some skill comes from a good setup? And I'm guessing he means like PC setup and whatever. If your frame rate is low, it's definitely going to affect your gameplay. If you have a decent PC, it's going to go so much smoother and be so much easier to aim. Really, if you're doing well with a bad setup, you've got some skill right there, dude. But that's another question that someone asked, not specifically on this video, I think, but someone asked, do you think that having good loadouts means you have skill. And I think you can be skilled with good loadouts. Like, it's just like the whole meta thing. Like, oh, hey, heavy, if you're using anything but stock or Tomislav, and the sandwich, and the gloves are running urgently, or fist of steel, then you're a terrible heavy, and you should never be playing the game. Because these are the only good weapons. Like, things like that. Or you should only be using degreaser. You should only be using degreaser and reserve shooter. It's the only good pyro loadout. Honestly, I don't think people who like use these like good loadouts, like the accepted competitive loadouts, I don't think they have skill. Like, not as much skill. I mean, people who play competitive definitely have a lot of skill there, but I think people have much more skill when they do good with terrible loadouts instead of doing good with loadouts that everyone already considers to be good. I saw somebody absolutely destroying a server using the Liberty Launcher. That guy has skill, okay? He didn't have a pocket medic up his butt with a Kritzkrieg. He was going at it, knocking people in the air with the rockets and shooting them with reserve shooter, and then market gardening them. He had the Jeep Jumper loadout, or whatever the heck it's called. I haven't seen that in forever, and he was just wrecking the server with it. So good on him. That guy right there has some real skill for using those awful weapons, except for the market gardener. But yeah, reserve shooter's not great on soldier, though he was making good use of it. Melissa asks, have you seen Uncle Dane? Yeah, I watched a couple of his videos, just to get like the basis of engineer and things I didn't know before. I think he has really high quality videos, and he definitely knows what he's talking about. So I respect Uncle Dane. I just don't watch him too much because I'm not the biggest fan of playing engineer. It's probably one of my more least played classes. I like engineer. In fact, I used to play engineer a lot when I was first getting into TF2. Like when I started to learn how to play him, I played him like all the time. It's just, he's not my main, so Uncle Dane, like, he only ever talks about engineer, so that's my issue with it. I mean, I know it's his main, and I know he talks about other things, and I definitely watched some of those other videos, but I don't know. I've seen a few of his videos, I'm just not too into them because I'm not an NG main myself. He does have some really interesting ones, though, I'll give him that. Can you tell us what your favorite type of game mode is? Or your favorite modded game in TF2? Asks Sean Kubat. My favorite game mode is Capture the Flag. That's an easy one. I think it's the most fun to play. Favorite modded game? Death Run. I know that's not original to Team Fortress 2, but I love Death Run. Keenan asks, do you actually like playing TF2? That depends on what day it is. Some days, I do enjoy TF2, I genuinely enjoy it, but when I have to like force myself to get footage for a video, like when I have to force myself to play out of my comfort zone and do like gimmicky loadouts or things like that just for the sake of doing like a top 9 video, for example, I hate every moment of it. I don't like getting footage for top 9 videos because I'm way out of my comfort zone, and everyone's like, oh, you should be doing much better with this if you're going to be talking about TF2, and it's like, guys, I've never used these weapons before in my life, I think. I maybe picked them up once or twice. I've been using the same set of weapons with minor tweaks to my loadouts for years. So, sorry, I'm out of my comfort zone. I thought I did pretty well with a direct hit, though. But yeah, if I'm just playing casually, I like it much more than when I have to force myself to get footage. Or if I'm just recording with whatever. If I'm recording on a whatever day when I don't know what's going to happen, but I end up getting some really good moments, that's the best too. Those are my favorites, not when you're trying to make good videos, but when good videos just come out of nowhere. I like that the best. Solj Daga asks, how are you? I'm good, how are you doing? I'm sorry I butchered your name, I'm sure I did. User _exe _ not found asks, how do we send you stuff like fan art? I've never considered that. Is there any way to do that on like the Steam group? I didn't think people were making fan art. Well, except for Tyzik. You know what? I bet you could upload them as artwork on Steam and then send a link in the Steam group. That'd be something interesting. I didn't know that was a thing though, honestly. But yeah, I don't really have a good answer for that because I've never heard that before. David asks, what is your background? I think he means like, race and things like that. I'm mostly Scottish, with a little bit of Austrian. My man Titties Are Invulnerable asks, what's your most hated weapon in TF2? That's a good one. Soda popper? No. Maybe the original? No. I'm gonna go with the frying pan, mainly for the noise that it makes. I hate the frying pan. Emily Chun asks, do you accept random friend requests, and why do you have the friends that you have? I don't typically accept random friend requests, but sometimes I do. But most of the time, I only add people who I've actually talked to in-game. And they're just people that I got along with really well. So, I mean, that's basically the short answer of why. With exceptions like trading bots or people that I know are good traders and I've like worked with before. Or in that one case where I actually added the person who created the map for a Fifth Curve event. Just asked him some questions about weird noise that I heard on the map. And I still have them on my friends list because they ended up being like super nice, and it turns out they actually made a lot of maps I use on my own server, so that's pretty cool. Mr. Mellons asks, how many unusuals do I have? Just one. Just the one for my demo man. A lot of the hats that are capable of being unusuals are things I would never wear. In fact, I changed my entire demo night loadout to match the unusual that I got, but I don't want to do that with other classes. Like, I don't know, there's one unusual for my robot heavy that might look good, where it's got like that little welder's mask thing, but the cheapest one of those is 30 keys, and it's like, I'll just stick with unusual-less robot heavy. My other classes look fine without unusuals, I think. Amari asks, what is your all-time favorite update? That's a tough one. Tough Break added a lot of great things, but it also screwed some things over as well. Tough Break's a good one, but geez, favorite update. Love and War was pretty good. I'm gonna have to go with like the 5th Halloween update, since that was my first Halloween in Team Fortress 2, and everything actually seemed to be working in that one. I could get my gifts, like there wasn't a mad dash in the middle, like the gifts were spawned uniquely to each individual person. We got Hell Tower, which was a lot of fun. It introduced the spells for the first time, which I see so many community servers still using that. So, you know what? Yeah, my favorite's probably the 5th Halloween event. James asks, what is your address, social security number, mother maiden name, age, PIN, bank account password, YouTube password, Steam account password, and favorite flavor of ice cream? Why is that at the end? Ignoring all of the beginning, my favorite flavor of ice cream is black raspberry chocolate chip. Yes, that is the best. Oh, that's so good. You guys have any that I wanted. Mr. the Bird has a very good question. If Demoman was not in the game, what would you main? Either Spy or Heavy. I mean, if you asked me a week ago, I would say Spy, but if you asked me today, I would probably say Heavy. But that's a really tough one. That's a really tough one. If Demoman wasn't in the game, period, and like things played out the way they did as they did now, just minus Demoman, Spy would almost most definitely be my main. Dude71 asks, when is your birthday? September 24th. So, it was a little bit ago. A couple months ago. Pooty Shooter asks, Scrumpy? Yes. Yes to Scrumpy. Never had it, but yes. Crazy asks, what is the best weapon that you have? That's debatable between my Eyelander and that minigun I mentioned earlier. If you want to count like the value of strange parts, my Eyelander's pretty expensive. And you know what? No, the minigun is way more expensive than the Eyelander, even with those parts. Yeah, the minigun. Go with the minigun I mentioned earlier. Coach Ace asks, what is your weight? That's an interesting question. I actually don't have a scale. But last I checked, it was somewhere around 121, 122. I don't know, it fluctuates, it varies. 122 is a fair estimate, though. Maybe 125 at the most. When I was really into bike riding, I was 111, which, that was probably not healthy. The Dude 101 asks, roughly how many people say something about the fact you were left-handed before you made your first left-handed video? Not many when I first started, actually. When I first started using the left-handed view models, not many asked about that. It's just, it started, when my channel started growing, more and more people asked, and it got to the point where I'd get at least 2 or 3 people asking each video I uploaded. Poppin' and Lockin' asks, how did you come up with your outro? I originally wanted to do a Source Filmmaker outro of my demo man like standing on De Groot Keep or whatever, but I thought that was a little too similar to like Muselk's outro of just his soldier sitting there staring off into space. And then I thought, like, well, first I have no experience with Source Filmmaker, and I wanted to get like a lot of De Groot Keep in frame. And then I remembered, oh yeah, there's actually an exploit we discovered when they added the base jumper for the first time. A group of me and some fellow TF2 players on a DeGroot server discovered that there's one spot you can stand in that won't kill you that's in the ditch. So that outro where my demoman pulls out a parachute and charges over towards those rocks and actually lands on that little area there and kind of moves into frame, that's not Source Filmmaker or anything, and that's not like God mode. I'm actually standing there in-game. So then I just started doing dancing, and I used a replay to get like the high FPS thing there, and well, the rest is history. That's how I did my outro. Unless he's talking about the Halloween one, then I just made that in Gmod and recorded it live right there. But yeah, I think he's talking about my main one. Mangus asks, what is love? It is baby don't hurt me no more. That is the answer. FPS Man asks a few questions. I'm just going to go with the ones that haven't answered already. Would you aim at getting into other content other than TF2? I've actually been doing that for a while with the Portal Stories Mel and Aperture Tag playthrough, and now we're doing Starbound and Left 4 Dead. So I'm starting to bring in more content other than TF2. It's just people watch TF2 more than any other on this channel. But yeah, you guys should totally check out some of the other ones. Especially Starbound, seriously. It's a good one. Do you understand Freak Fortress, he asks. I get the idea. The only question I have is, why? Just why? Why any of it? Was it a ghost? He's probably referring to that video that I made asking, did I record a real-life ghost in TF2? First of all, title was a joke. Secondly, I just wanted to figure out what the noise was, and we figured it out within a couple hours of it being uploaded. And I expected it to get 2,000 views at the most. At the most. And then it became, like, easily the most viewed video on this channel. It's like, geez, guys, quit commenting. We figured it out already. In fact, I had to put a huge annotation in the beginning of the video. I had to change the description and make a huge all-caps, bold letter comment in the comment section to tell people, yes, we figured out what it was. We're trying to figure out why it was, like, so distorted and low quality. It was a spy voice line. We're trying to figure out why it was so distorted and delayed and everything. And my theory is that when too many sounds play at once, it lowers the quality of sounds that are supposed to be in the distance, but something went wrong and it lowered the quality of my spy's voice in general and kind of cut it off. I think the sound just kind of glitched out in TF2, which it's been known to do before. Whoa, the sound is glitching out. Whoa. But yeah, despite all of that, people still to this day comment and say, it's not a ghost, this is just clickbait. And it's like, guys, I didn't want this to be clickbait. I'm not trying to make it clickbait. I just wanted to know what it was. And I found out what it was. Jeez. It's like that Undertale thing all over again. People fighting about me not knowing what Undertale was in the late night server search video. That's because people recommended Undertale. I thought I'd watch it someday. And I didn't want to spoil it for me. So of course I didn't know what the final boss was. So guys, all of you that are like, oh, never spoil anything for Undertale, no spoilers, and they also like are like, oh, that's Undertale, that's Undertale, that's Undertale. It's like, oh, thanks guys. Also, your fan base is awful. Seriously. What the heck? There were so many people fighting with each other in the comment section. It lasted up to 5.5 months of fighting back and forth on that video. But you guys know what? All of you who are like hating on me for not knowing what Undertale was, every single time you guys came back to post another comment, the advertisements on the side played. And I made more ad revenue. That Undertale video, or not even an Undertale video, just late night server search, for the longest time accounted for over 60% of all of my incoming revenue. So if you guys really hate me, don't come back and fight on my video that's monetized. Because you're just giving me money. I'm serious. Okay, that was a bit of a rant there. But I had to get that out of there. God dang, that was awful. Moving on. I think we're starting to run out here. Also, people do ask a lot, where can you download the hit sound that I have for my leg from SpongeBob? I actually do have a link for that. I'll put it in the description. I uploaded it to Game Banana. I know there's another one on there that's the exact same thing, but that has the background noise. I digitally removed most of the background noise so that it's just my leg from SpongeBob. So it sounds much better as a hit sound, and it's like higher quality. But yeah, I'm not going to take credit for coming up with that idea. That was someone else on Game Banana that originally did that. I just didn't think it was done very well. Great idea, though. I mean, that was freaking hilarious, dude. I use that in all my videos still. I eventually changed it to a kill sound instead of a hit sound, though, just because of pyro. Like one person on fire. My leg, my leg, my leg, my leg, my leg, my leg, my leg. What is the class you most loved in your Gibbous days? Medic, but I'm also always a big fan of heavy. DC Murphy asks, how often do you trade? I used to trade a lot. I was way into the trading scene. This is how I got a lot of my weapons. Aside from putting some money into Team Fortress 2, I would like trade up to get a bunch of my weapons. But yeah, ever since they did that mobile authentication garbage, which, I'm sorry, I don't have an iPhone. I just want a phone that can text. I don't want my phone to be a laggy, try-hard trying to be a computer, but it can't. Piece of crap touchscreen never works right. I hate iPhones. I hate them. I hate any modern cell phone that has a touchscreen primarily. I don't even like my phone, and it has a little keyboard that slides out on the bottom. But yeah, screw it. I'm not going to get an overly expensive phone just to have a mobile authenticator thing on Steam. So you know what I did? Got a desktop authenticator. But even then, it takes forever, because I can't like trade a bunch of crates or stuff like on the market at once. I can't like make a million listings. I have to do it individually, one by one, and it's awful. So yeah, there's your answer. Nathan asks, slurp, slurp, slurp. I don't know how to answer that. Slide the Slide asks, what's your favorite music? Well, aside from a lot of the records that I own, which is like typically classical music, maybe some Beatles in there and some other stuff, I really like the electro swing genre. That's probably my favorite type of music. Mr. Apple asks, what do you hate most? W11 Pyros or Machina Snipers? Well, I don't really hate either of them, because if I get killed by either, it's on me. I see how the Machina is kind of like a BS kill, but I don't hate him for that. You know, I guess what's frustrating the most is they never do anything other than hold down WM1. Like, I'm frustrated that they should be doing better. Like, someone just tell them, use mouse 2, air blast, do something. But no matter what you tell them, you can't force them to get game sense, and that's what's frustrating about it. And Machina Snipers are just Machina Snipers. Honestly, I like it when they use the Machina, because I can tell exactly where they are when they fire a shot. So, I'm going to go with WM1 Pyros for that one. Mint Leaf asks, Ace, how is your gaming so smooth? Powerful computer. That's all I can say, because it's definitely not Fraps helping that out. I'm going to try to pronounce this person's name. Tiburon Tabuco asks, what is your type of girl? And what is an obscure song you like that you think everyone should listen to at least once? Oh, geez, I don't know any obscure songs. And what do you mean with type of girl? Like, is there a list? Is there an example? Like, what? Are we talking, like, type of hair, personality, looks, weight? I know that's an awful one. I don't know. Average? Just average? Is that a good answer? That's the best answer I can think of with, like, as vague as that question was. But an obscure song that you like and you think everyone should listen to at least once. The Zeta Project theme. God. That is obscure as heck. I don't know. Let's go with like the Castle in the Sky soundtrack as well. Because that is at least a movie everyone should see at least once. It's my favorite movie of all time. Best movie ever. Love it. And the songs in that are great. They really are. Epic Osawat asks, what's your least favorite loadout in TF2? Dang, that's a good one. He also asks, what was my first weapon and hat? Least favorite loadout would probably be Soda Popper Winger Atomizer, just because that's like the most cowardice scout in the world. Or you know what? No, Soda Popper and Bonk. Or maybe even more annoying, Soda Popper, Bonk, and Rap Assassin. Yeah, let's go with that one. As for what was my first weapon and hat, I actually remember this. The first weapon I ever found in TF2 was a Natasha, and this was before it was buffed, back when it was like a garbage weapon. I hated it. I remember Pillender's trying to teach me that's like, oh yeah, well, you see, when you unlock weapons, they're not like upgrades, they're side grades. They're just as good as stock, they have different stats. I'm like, okay. And I got a Natasha and I'm like, oh hey, here's a new weapon. And then I'm like, try it out for the first time, and it's like, how is this supposed to be as good as stock? And he's like, oh yeah, some of them just aren't. And it's like, oh, get rid of this. This was before I knew about crafting too, so I just deleted it. Realm of Skylords asks, is Fox X Tazik allowed? Tazik, sorry. I mispronounced your name. You hate it when everyone mispronounces your name, and I mispronounced it right there. It's Tazik. Is Fox X Tazik allowed? Well, Fox is gay, and Tazik has other reasons, so no, it's not allowed. In fact, I say it's not allowed. Oh, another person asks, will you do collaborations with other YouTubers? Actually, a lot of people ask that one. And I don't know. What if I had the opportunity to do a collaboration with someone who had like 10,000 subscribers back when I had almost 3,000, but I didn't go anywhere with it because it's like, you know what? There's nothing I could offer this guy. Like, and there's nothing really, like, other than me being like a view sponge, there's nothing he can offer my channel. So, yeah. I don't really do collaborations. I haven't done any so far, I think, except having some people appear on my channel that also have YouTube channels, but they weren't recording at the time anyway, so it's like, oh. But yeah, unless there's something that we can add, like both add to each other's channel and experience of watching the video, typically I don't do collaboration videos. Though if there's the opportunity to do it with like a YouTuber that I know and I really like his content, someone I know prior to it, I like his content, I've seen him before, and I think it would be really cool to do like a little partner video thing or be like a guest on the channel or something. Yeah, I'd be up for that. And vice versa. What inspired you to start your ocarina business? Asks Dravenova. Really, I really liked the ocarina in like Ocarina of Time, and I found it was a real instrument, and I had prior experience with flute-like instruments before, so I was pretty good at it, and I thought an ocarina would be a pretty cool one to have. So I got into that. I learned how to play it pretty well. I started getting some of the bigger, more expensive ones, and long story short, I started a little collection of ocarinas, and I thought, wow, this is getting expensive. And I'm starting to want things that are like really specific for certain songs that I want to do. And it's like, you know what? I have some experience with pottery. I bet I could make an ocarina. So I did, and that's the shortest version of that story. And then I started selling them. Well, that pretty much about covers it. If you guys have any additional questions, ask them down in the comment section below, and I will reply to them as soon as I see them, or as soon as I can anyway. And yeah, hopefully you enjoyed the video. Now, let's get to the part where we announce the winners of the giveaway! Okay, so once again, sorry this took so long. It's just there were over 100 people that entered this giveaway, and it was a lot of usernames to sift through. But we finally have 3 winners, and the way that we did this was not like, oh, we just spin a wheel and whatever name it lands on happens to win 3rd and 2nd and 1st. No, we had to be a bit more random than that, a bit more lucky, a bit more of a chance, in that each time it landed on a name, we would eliminate the name. So, over and over, each time it landed on a new person, it would be eliminated, so that the 3 winners that are left had the wheel spin over their name more than 100 times, and it never landed on your name. So, you guys are truly very lucky. Now, the 3rd place winner and future owner of the Claydamore is Playo34. 2nd place winner of the Strange Cow Mangler is Mr. TFMG brackets check profile description. Also, if you guys have changed your names, that's okay. I saved your profiles to my favorites, so I can still find you and send you these trade requests. And the 1st place winner, the winner of the Specialized Killstreak Airstrike that is also strange, is Trixmania. So congratulations to all of you winners. And like I said, there were 3 runners-up. I'm not going to mention their names unless I have to. I have them written down though, just in case. But I'm not going to mention their names just because it's kind of cruel to be like, oh hey, look at you. You got so close. You came in 4th place. You missed one of the prizes by just 1 slot. I don't want to do that unless they're actually getting something. So if any of these 3 winners do not accept like the trade request within whatever specified time it is. Like, I don't know what time Steam has it when it expires or whatever. But I'll let them know they won. I'll send them the trade request. And if for any reason they don't want it, or if it's a very significant amount of time and they never respond, it'll go to one of the runner-ups. And there are 3 runners-up, so even if all 3 of them decide, you know what, I don't want this, there's 3 more people it could go to. But yeah, congratulations on you winners. I'll be sending you these trade requests probably as the video's going up. And you don't need to send anything in return. You guys won. These are free. Take them, love them, use them. I don't know what you're going to do with them. But hopefully you enjoy these weapons. And hopefully all of you enjoyed this video that's been a long time coming. I know. It took a long time to edit and all this stuff. This is probably going to take forever to edit as it is. It might be delayed again. But I'm sorry. It's a lot of work. I've been putting it off way too long. I had a lot of stuff to go through. So hopefully you all enjoyed, and thank you so much for 11,000 subscribers now. You guys are amazing. I love each and every one of you subscribers, and I look forward to your continued support as my channel grows. You guys are the best. Bring it in. Bring it in. I'm going to hug.
Hug the microphone. Is this weird yet?
I'm going to stop the video there before this gets a little too weird. Alright, bye! My throat hurts from talking for like an hour straight.